are transmitted by particles. So when they're coughing, sneezing, very similar to us. And so there's three things that we can do to help. One is eliminate voluntary play or voluntary interaction. So things like dog parks. Two, go to the veterinarian, get the necessary vaccines, get an exam, make sure your pet is healthy, because even though these vaccines may not be protecting for this particular disease, they're still keeping your pet healthy. And third, talk to your veterinarian. It's different all over the country right now. In some areas, it's more prevalent, and others.
Coming up on KTTC News at 10, it's a major concern, especially for infants and the elderly. Tonight, digging deeper into RSV, its impact here and around the nation.
Plus, as some area school districts share their enrollment concerns, one area school system says its enrollment is up.
But first, the man accused of murdering Winona mother Madeline Kingsbury appears in court today. KTTC was in the courtroom. Got a better idea of what we can expect next year. Your 10 o'clock news starts now.
This is a breaking news special report.
We do begin with breaking news tonight just into our newsroom. A developing story out of Blooming Prairie where an apparent traffic stop turned into a shooting.
Yeah, that is according to the Steele County Times. The newspaper reports this happened at around 6:30 near Main Street. Steele County Dispatch would not release any other information to us tonight. We are awaiting word from the sheriff's office. Stay with KTTC on air and online for more on this developing story.
And after months, we now have a better timeline of when a trial could take place for the murder of Madeline Kingsbury.
Yes, and we are learning more today after court, where Kingsbury's alleged killer, Adam Fravel, appeared before a judge this morning for the first of many omnibus hearings. Turning now to our Olivia Pronzinski, who has been following this case closely.
Both prosecutors and the defense are expecting an early fall date for trial. The Kingsbury family said the trial will take about 3 weeks. And as of this afternoon, Adam Fravel's next court appearances have been scheduled. It's 3 days across in March and April. Those are contested hearings. During those, you'll get a better idea of evidence and witnesses that could be called to testify. During today's hearing, Fravel entered the courtroom in a dark green jail-issued uniform. He also wasn't wearing restraints. His family sat behind him in court. The Kingsburys also showed in numbers. We also learned more about the grand jury transcript that indicted Fravel with the first-degree murder charges. The transcript is more than 1,800 pages long and has been sealed by the defense and prosecution. While it was a short hearing, it still proved difficult for those close to the case.
It's infuriating. We're all pretty shaky, even though it was a quick thing to happen.
Mm-hmm. And what's next in your mind?
Justice. Mm-hmm. It's a long waiting process, but we're going to get justice. It's feeling good.
All pretrial motions must be submitted by January 19th. We asked the Fravel family and attorney for comment. They declined. In the studio, Olivia Pronzinski, KTTC News.
High temperatures today were above average. We warmed all the way up into the upper 50s here today, as we were just shy of tying a record set back in 1998 in Rochester. So 51 for the high today in the Med City, 53 in Mason City, 54 in Charles City. So I mentioned we were just 1 degree shy of tying a high temperature record set back in 1998 to 52 degrees. What we're tracking here in the weather department, we're tracking some mild temperatures on the way for Friday. With the mild temperatures comes the chance for rain, not snowfall. So we're tracking rain and then potentially the rain-snow mix into early on Saturday morning. Everything quiet here tonight. Loosen out a live camera, 32 outside, wind out of the south at 10 miles per hour. We're still mainly clear. Temperatures here locally, still some 30s, low 40s in Preston and in Winona. We'll pick up some cloud cover. That'll help keep our temperatures in the low 30s here tonight. We have a storm system to our south and then to our northwest. That cold front you see to the northwest, that'll be the weather maker for tomorrow. Tomorrow we have some cloudy sky, temperatures warming above average, and then notice by about 7, 9 o'clock, we see the chance for rain. We'll track that out coming up in your full forecast. Back to you.
All right, Nick, thank you. Many Southeast Minnesota school districts face tough decisions this winter as failed referenda back on Election Day have made already tight budgets even tighter.
One contributor to the problem appears to be declining enrollment for several schools, but not every area school is seeing this trend. Our Noah Kaplan joins us now after speaking with leadership at Rochester Catholic Schools to explain why, in a time of struggle for so many districts, RCS is seeing more engagement than ever. Noah?
Well, guys, earlier this week, Rochester Catholic Schools made a positive announcement to its social media, sharing how their new student applications have increased tremendously to the tune of 134% compared to this point last year. That's a major contrast from what several area public schools are dealing with, as many are cutting budgets and even whole schools, due in part to lowering enrollment. But in speaking with RCS, we discovered that these enrollment trends have a clear inflection point that dates back to the fall of 2020. Here's what we discovered.
It's gone from the slow incline to a straight up line.
This December, Rochester Catholic Schools is seeing an unprecedented number of applicants. 143 compared to 61 at this time last year. This coming alongside the fact that student enrollment overall has increased at RCS since 2020. The school's president shared this telling story with me from the school's admissions instructor amid recent announcements that multiple public schools in Rochester may close.
But she's shared with me the number of crying parents that she's had on the phone, sharing, because they're heartbroken, right? To hear, one, your school might be closing, two, it's going to be completely different the next year.
But these positive trends were not always the case.
We're on about a 10-year decline going into the pandemic in 2020. We bottomed out at 1,271 students, and that's preschool through 12th grade.
And that pandemic-riddled year, 2020, appears to be especially important. In looking at 2022 enrollment data from Rochester Public Schools, it appears total enrollment throughout RPS increased steadily for nearly 10 years until 2020. Now the district is projecting losses in enrolled students for the next decade. Last month, the district announced the potential closure of 3 schools as a way of cutting costs.
We now need to cut $10 million for 2024-2025 after cutting $21 million the past 2 years.
This divergence in enrollment trends between RCS and RPS suggests that something changed in the fall of 2020. RCS offered an explanation, saying it may be due to COVID-19 policies implemented at the time. In the fall of 2020, public school districts across Minnesota were mainly remote or hybrid due to executive orders from St. Paul. RCS conversely chose to reopen its classrooms for in-person learning. But RCS leaders went even further than that, saying that that time period led to a mindset change from parents that's being seen even more today. The notion that parents want more control over their child's education.
Everyone for the first few months was teaching their kids from home, and parents became aware of what this isn't good enough for my kid, or it's not meeting my kids' needs.
So looking at more numbers now, most of the RCS applicants they're seeing at the moment are K through 8 students. The district says it retains about 70% of its students from 8th to 9th grade that transition over to high school. Its goal is to enroll 74 more students for the 2024 to 2025 year. That's throughout all grades. Live in the studio tonight, Noah Kaplan, KTTC News.
Thanks, Noah. Olmsted County experts say local respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, cases are down this year compared to last year. According to Olmsted County's infectious disease epidemiologist, there are currently fewer than 10 cases of hospitalization in the county, which he says is significantly less than last year. These cases are a combination of COVID-19, the flu, and RSV. The county expert says this year is special as there are medical strategies to specifically prevent RSV this year.
RSV in particular, there is a vaccine available for RSV for children, really young kids entering their first or second season, for pregnant individuals, and then for the elderly as well. So
the county epidemiologist says children and the elderly typically are the most severely affected by RSV. He recommends everyone get vaccinated as the illness can infect anyone.
Digging deeper for you tonight, according to the National Foundation for Infectious Diseases, each year RSV leads to more than 2 million outpatient visits for children age 1 and under. Up to 80,000 annual hospitalizations are also recorded for that age group, resulting in as many as 300 deaths. The foundation says the infection is so common that nearly all children will have had RSV by their second birthday. Now, on the opposite side of the spectrum, up to 160,000 yearly RSV hospitalizations involve adults 65 and older, ending in as many as 10,000 deaths. Much lighter note now, it is once again caroling season, and as some people go door to door singing the holiday classics, one group in Rochester is taking a much different approach. Team Red is a club that aims to help members stay fit while also having fun through running and walking. Red is an acronym standing for Run, Eat, Drink. For more than 8 years now, Team Red has held its annual Caroling on the Run. Instead of going door to door singing songs, they run a set route to different businesses. And in addition to spreading holiday cheer through song, they also hand out cash to employees and customers. They say it's all about giving back to the community.
It's everything. I mean, to be healthy, to be able to do something you love, to be able to share with others. I mean, I don't know what else a person could expect.
Now, that cash is actually donated by the members themselves. This year, they handed out more than $800 on their singing run. A fun and festive event for an even better cause.
The Boys and Girls Club of Rochester teamed up with staff from the Department of Surgery at Mayo Clinic to provide gifts for the club's families this holiday season. This is a tradition for Mayo since 2019, where the surgery department has covered the cost of every child in the Boys and Girls Club. Each club family shared their wish lists, and gifts were purchased with the funds. More than 60 families received presents ranging from Legos to sporting equipment. Gifts were received earlier today at the club's holiday celebration. There were more than 120 young people who received presents from the program this year. Wonderful to see. Well, it was the site of a heinous crime in 2022.
Now word that the home where 4 Idaho students were murdered will be torn down. How the families of the victims are responding.
Temperatures coming up tomorrow will be in the upper 40s. We'll have some cloud cover, and we're tracking a chance for some showers. We'll detail that in your full First Alert forecast right after this.
The location of one of the most gruesome murders of 2022 is now expected to be demolished.
On November 13th last year, the bodies of 4 University of Idaho students were found off campus in their home in Moscow, Idaho. That same home on King Road is now planned to be demolished by the end of the year. According to a release by the university, the house was donated to the school back in February and will be torn down 2 weeks from today, on December 28th. Attorneys on both sides of the aisle have consented to the demolition, but the defense now wants to take photos, measurements, and possibly drone footage first. According to Idaho Education News, the families of the 4 victims have urged the university to keep the house intact until the first-degree murder case against alleged killer, 28-year-old Brian Koberger, goes to trial. Koberger is facing 4 counts of murder and a felony burglary charge after the 2022 quadruple murder. A trial date has not yet been set.
Here's your First Alert weather with Chief Meteorologist Nick Jensen.
Hey, high temperatures today. We're well above average again. We were right back into the low 50s. This is back-to-back Thursdays, right? We set record highs last Thursday and setting some record high temperatures this Thursday. So just a week apart, and we're setting some records. Charles City, Albert Lee, and Austin all setting daytime records here today. Mason City falling shy by just 2 degrees. That's 55 is at the airport where Mason City has that record at. And all of these records set 1998. We were fairly warm here in the 50s. 51 today in Rochester, falling just 1 degree shy of tying that record from 1998. Outside, loosen out a live camera, 32, still mainly clear. Wind out of the south at 10 miles per hour. Feels like 24 outside. What to expect, mild and cloudy here tonight. Friday, warm again. Not as warm as today, but still the 40s. We're maybe 20 degrees above average coming up tomorrow. And we'll see some shower chances start to move in overnight into Saturday. As temperatures cool, we could actually see some minor snowfall accumulations too. Surface map here, future track surface map. We continue with some cloud cover off to the west. That cloud cover continues to slide in here tonight. We'll see if we can pick up enough moisture for maybe some showers out to our west. The main weather maker is that cold front, along with it, that low pressure system right there moving into the Dakotas. That's our weather maker on the way for tomorrow. So notice here our surface map. We put that in motion. We start to see that snowfall in the cold sector. We're in the warm sector, so temperatures will be above freezing coming up tomorrow. We'll have some shower chances, and what's really looking at here is with the wind out of the south-southwest and temperatures start to warm, we'll have this wrap-around effect, and that's why I have the little icon there. We could see some mixing taking place as that front continues to progress off to the east. So we'll start out with some rain. That'll be after sunset Friday evening, and then we'll have that minor mixing possible into early Saturday morning. Future track here. We continue tonight, fairly quiet. Temperatures tomorrow starting off in the 30s. We're into the 40s for high temperatures tomorrow. We continue with some showers, so up near Minneapolis, Eau Claire, and farther to the north is where the rain and the snow activity will be at during the daytime hours on Friday. As we move then overnight, by midnight, here comes some rain. And watch, I'll put this in motion and we'll see where we have that mixing at. Out to the western, we start to have some of that mixing and it kind of falls apart throughout the daytime hours on Saturday. So I do expect some type of wintry mix early on Saturday morning. Rainfall amounts, a lot of us could get close to maybe a quarter to 3/10 of an inch of rain in that darker green color there, stretching from about Mason City and towards the Med City. Snowfall accumulations, moderate to heavy snow may be possible. If you're looking at north of Brainerd up near Duluth, about 2 to 4 inches of snowfall could be possible there. Here at home, I think minimal amounts of snow will be possible. So that leads us to our White Christmas tracker. We're really only looking at about a 5 to 15% chance. Continue to knock that down. If we look at some of the ensembles, only 3 out of 20 give us a chance of snowfall before Christmas. So right now that puts us at about a 5 to 15% chance. So not looking too good. 32 for the low here tonight, mostly cloudy. Wind out of the southwest tonight. Tomorrow we have high temperatures across the region in the mid 40s. We'll start to work in that rain chance then through the overnight hours. 10-day forecast here at 10. We have the chance for some showers here late Friday into Saturday. That's our main weather maker. As we look towards next week, high temperatures remaining in the 40s. We get all the way to Christmas Eve. There could be that system that moves in by Saturday and Sunday. Right now, it looks like temperatures to be a little too warm for snow. Guys.
All right, Nick, thank you. And speaking of, we've talked about the warmer weather a lot this week, about how it might lower the likelihood of a white Christmas.
But the weather conditions are also making another event more likely. We'll explain when we come back. Unseasonably warm December weather has made the possibility of a fire this time of year much higher in Minnesota.
KTTC's Quinn Gorham caught up with DNR experts to hear how warm and dry conditions have created the perfect conditions for wildfires.
This is definitely unusual for December in Minnesota.
The month of December is halfway over and most of the state has little to no snow cover.
Well, we've actually been pretty dry for much of the year. You know, we went into pretty severe drought during the summer into the fall.
Todd Krause with the National Weather Service says the weather is certainly abnormal, but it's unclear how long the warm, dry conditions will persist.
Even with our current El Nino, we could still get snowy and cold later on this winter.
Regardless, the high temperatures, low moisture, and dormant plant life are the perfect combination for wildfire.
When we don't have that snow cover, it does make a big impact on the fire danger because of the available fuels for a wildfire to start and then spread.
Since December isn't usually associated with a high fire risk, Karen Harrison with the Minnesota DNR says people may take the warning less seriously.
So people are thinking it is winter, it's okay and safe to burn. So I think really just making people aware of the possibility that there could be a wildfire started is really important.
That means limiting the use of fires outside burn pits and other controlled environments, at least until there's enough snow on the ground.
And looking at the ground cover, do you have 3 inches or more of snow? Then it's, safer to burn.
Reporting in St. Paul, I'm Quinn Gorham.
The DNR says, when in doubt, don't burn if you can avoid it.
Next in sports, I've got highlights from a pair of high school boys hockey games. Find out if Lord and Century John Marshall can defend home ice. Plus, the Timberwolves look to snap the Mavericks' 4-game win streak. All the highlights from Dallas after the break.
KTTC Sports from the Lucina Siding and Windows Sports Wall.
What's going on, friends? I'm Julian Mitchell. Tonight on the Sports Wall, we have some great local action on the ice, Lord versus La Crescent, and the hardwood as well, as Goodhue and Stewartville face off in girls hoops. But first to the NBA, Timberwolves on the road to face the Mavericks in Dallas. We'll join in here, third quarter, game tied at 66. Luka Doncic going to work on a great defender here in Jade McDaniels. Look at his 1-foot jumper. Of course, that's in for him. But on the other end here, look at this. Karl-Anthony Towns says, anything you can do, I can do better. The big fella looking smooth. That goes down. A little later, Wolves up 6. Doncic again out of the post just makes it look easy. 4-point game. Luka had 39 points, 13 assists, and 6 boards. But the Wolves got to cooking. Anthony Edwards back healthy in this one. Look at the cookies. He's out. Look at the move here. The patience puts it in. 5-point lead headed to the fourth. Minnesota got a ton of production from the bench in this one, mostly from this man, Naz Reid. Splash. He had a team-high 27 points, hit 7 threes. It's an 11-point Wolves lead. More Reid here. Conley kicks it out to him in the corner. He's got it. Wolves get the win here, 119-101. Let's head to the ice next. Wild hosting the Calgary Flames. Minnesota picks up its second win in a row here, 3-2 in shootouts. Matt Boldy and Margot Rossi had the regulation goals. Next up, Minnesota hosts the Canucks on Saturday. The ice to the local hardwood we go. Girls hoops, 14th ranked Stewartville, going off with Class A's 4th ranked Goodhue. First quarter, Wildcats up the floor. Elizabeth Gadiant will fake the pass here and pull up from long distance, looking like Sabrina Ionescu with the J. That goes down. Goodhue up 3. But Stewie comes right back. Look at this ball movement. J.C. Rath, splash. That lefty J ties this game up. Couple of threes. Let's see who can get in the paint. Well, Julia Carlson, listed on the roster. 6 foot, 6'0" right there. Plays like it. Great move for 2. Wildcats back on top by 2. Tigers trying to defend home turf. The jungle at Savannah Hadeen. Little floater alert. The left hand. That's nice. Then ball here goes to Taylor Clement with the blue headband on. That's Cash. Stewie jumps in front by 1. And Tigers go on to win this game 70-60, that final score. So the boys' side now, John Marshall hosting Burnsville. First half here, Burnsville's little Samuel to come up with the jumper here. See this one going down. I'll swing it around. Little pump fake gets inside. Kick out here. There we go. A little floater on that one. Rockets lead by 2. John Marshall comes right back in this one. Gonna get this one out on the fast break, pushing it up the floor. Rockets with it. Look at that move inside, able to finish with the right hand in that one. Rockets in the lead. Then more Burnsville here. Quick entry pass. Defense left the back door open there. That bucket goes down for Burnsville. The Rockets stand in front in this one. Get the board there. The second chance is up and good. Ancock Kucha gets that second chance bucket. Rockets up 5. This game would go to overtime. John Marshall falls 70-63. Opposed to high school boys hockey, Lord has won its last 2 in a row, taking on 5-1 La Crescent here. First period, no score. Eagles, Jack Rowe with the breakaway. Sizes up Charles Wiesel. What an incredible glove save. What a play. Keeping this one scoreless. Under 3 minutes to go in the first, Noah Gillette. Look at the patience. Centers, Wyatt Farrell lights the lamp. What a setup. La Crescent takes a 1-0 lead. Eagles looking to answer. Colton Rich with the takeaway. Puck knocked away, but right to Aiden Ritter. Who buries it? Lord knots this puppy up at ones. These black sweaters. I love them. Some great hockey here in this one. Final seconds of the period. Lord on the power play, but Michael Stoichka has it up ice. Shorthanded here. Saucer over to Gillette, and a little backhand flick is money. What a nasty goal. Eagles down 2-1 at the end of one. Had a great game here at Graham Arena. La Crescent comes away with the win 5-4. Staying there at Graham, Century JM boys hosting Albert Lee in a Big 9 battle. Second period, Panthers up 1-0. Jonathan Burmeister centers it for Bennett Pronk. Should be an easy shot in front, but Ledger Todheim stops it not once, but twice, big-time plays, the Tigers goalie. Panthers outshooting the Tigers by 10. Another gorgeous feed in front. Quit playing with them. That's Sondheim knocking it away. And it's on his head in this one. In that 1-0 game, we do not have a final score reported yet in this one. That'll do it from the Sports Wall tonight. We'll be back after this.
Finally tonight, a father and daughter in Wisconsin are being credited by archaeologists for their historic discovery.
While they were out fishing this summer, it turns out the duo ran across an 1871 shipwreck that was believed to have been in a fire. Henley Wallach and her father, Tim, were fishing on Lake Michigan near Green Island earlier this summer. It was then when they discovered something on their boat's water camera. Tim had originally thought it was a shipwreck, but hadn't heard of one being in that location before. The 122-foot-long George L. Newman, carrying lumber from Little Suamico, was trying to navigate thick black smoke on the night of the Peshtigo fire when it grounded near Green Island. A few shipwrecks are reported to the Historical Society each year, but one from a 6-year-old and her dad is rare.
I don't know how we top it. I told her I'm pretty sure there's no one else in her school that's ever found a shipwreck that nobody had recorded before.
The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources did more imaging last week to further confirm the Historical Society's suspicions of it being the Newman. When they made the discovery, 6-year-old Henley thought it was an octopus, as one does. Well, hey, we're continuing to monitor a developing situation in Blooming Prairie. According to the Steele County Times, the newspaper is reporting that around 6:30 near Main Street, there was some kind of shooting. We're unclear exactly how that's playing out at this hour, but we do have a crew en route to that scene, and we are in touch trying to reach out to law enforcement tonight.
Yeah, so we will be sure to have the latest for you on KTTC.com as information comes in, and again tomorrow on your morning news.
Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Good night.
But after asking, some questions to the person, they quickly became agitated, and I realized they were a scam. Other things that we know that are in there is also a big one is pet deposits. So you start to see, showing cute pictures of pets and wanting to adopt a puppy, and what they're doing